Sakura's grounded normals are mostly the same. Close stand strong and close stand forward both seem to have been slowed down a frame or two, since they no longer work after +4 attacks. Close fierce is still 3 frames though. Far Fierce now has much more forward movement, and it's now quite similar to Chun-Li Far Fierce. Far Roundhouse is much faster. Sakura's capacity to poke is improved. She has a new command normal, Back Fierce. It has the same range and damage as Close Fierce, but can be done at any range. However, it's significantly slower, probably 7 or 8 frames startup instead of 3, and it's much more unsafe on block. It does force stand. Its large range means it links after close strong, which seems to be Sakura's damage optimal confirming route, similar to SF4. Her Hadokens don't appear to be different. The EX one seems to be her AE 2012 one rather than her Fast Ultra one though. Her Shoryukens seem to come out faster. They work pretty much the same way they do in Ultra, both in cancels and juggles. You can still FADC them on block since they're not invincible. EX Shoryu had its animation significantly changed, and it now knocks down on the second hit, with the first, third, and fourth being FADCable. Whichever one you use, you seem to be safe. Juggles into Ultra 2 are pretty weak here, while juggles into Ultra 1 are impossible. For this reason, it seems to be preferred to FADC the first hit. Although, if you FADC on the first hit, you have to do it without reacting. FADCing later allows you to choose not to FADC on hit if you want to save the meter. Tatsumaki has been overhauled. Light Tatsu leaves the opponent much farther away, but is much more plus on hit. It's still neutral on block. Unfortunately, while crouch forward almost always links after Light Tatsu, the only ender is a cancel to uppercut. Most Tatsu loops are gone, though frame-wise you should still be able to get some on fat opponents. Sakura's best close meterless combos still use a Light Tatsu though. Medium Tatsu and Hard Tatsu now have a follow-up hit with kick. With or without the final hit, they're both punishable on block. You can FADC or super cancel the final hit though. Medium Tatsu with the final hit appears to be Sakura's damage optimal meterless ender. It doesn't seem to require a standing opponent, but it might on some characters. Hard Tatsu is nearly unusable on standing opponents. It'll almost always miss the middle hit, and often the first, even if you use a normal that forces stand. Because it loses hits, it actually does less damage than the medium version, and if it misses the first hit, it's blockable and thus punishable. But in juggles, all 4 hits combo pretty reliably, and the damage is nice. EX Tatsu is mostly the same. However, the last hit is now duckable, making it very unsafe on block. Naturally, if it never hits, it can't FADC either, so now you have to actually confirm this attack. Every hit now forces stand though, which is neat. Air Tatsu seems to drop faster, but it still can't hit on the back. EX Air Tatsu juggles much more consistently, but it's not her damage optimal 2-bar combo to launch then juggle into it, so it's still not useful. One kind of interesting thing you can do is an instant air EX Tatsu, since it can be done much lower to the ground. This is safe on block, and theoretically beats throws and crouch techs too. Sakura Otoshi has also been overhauled. It's now QCF kick. Light only has one hit, medium does 2, and heavy does 3. None of them go very far, and all of them work after EX Tatsu. Even in the corner, you won't cross up after them, and the opponent can quick stand every hit, so there's no reason to whiff the last hit anymore, I guess. Even the heavy one is weaker than a juggle to heavy Tatsu, though. They're all plus on block on grounded opponents. The light one's jump is pretty small, so you could theoretically use it for pressure, I suppose. EX no longer tracks, but it's pretty fast and has a small degree of steering. It's Fireball invincible for the whole duration while EX Tatsu is not, so this seems to be your main answer to Fireballs now. Sakura has a new special move, Hadosho, QCB Punch. It's pretty fast and very safe, though the range isn't good at all. It reminds me visually of her VT1 attack in SF4. Harder versions come out slower but do more damage. Even the EX one is plus on block, while doing the best damage and having the best speed and range. Canceling into this move up close isn't very risky, and you can theoretically super cancel or FADC it too. They don't build bar very quickly though. They do nullify fireballs, but there's no reward for doing so. I've actually found some juggles into Hadosho. They're very powerful, though they appear to be somewhat character specific. They seem to be Sakura's optimal damage ender in juggles. Sakura has another new special move, QCF Kick Midair, her dive kick from CVS2. It actually seems to be extremely good, safe on block from most heights. Particularly, if you can find a range where dive kick won't cross up, but medium kick will, you can get some good pressure out of it. EX adds hits as she falls, but it's hard to get more than 2. It's more plus when she lands too. Finally, she has an extremely bizarre new special if you hit all 3 punches. If you have 1 bar or 0 bars, it won't come out at all. If you have 2 bars, 3 bars, or 4 bars, Sakura will deduct however much you have and do a series of attacks based on how much you paid. Damage, range, and invincibility all massively increase depending on meter consumed. If you've got 3 or 4 bars, it's a good reversal. And if you've got 4, it's good for going through fireballs. All of them juggle after DP in the corner, but 4 bars will juggle after DP mid-screen. It works really well in empty cancels, especially the higher versions which have more forward movement. Despite having a super freeze, it functions and cancels like a special move. You can cancel into it from normals but not specials. If it's blocked, you can either hit nothing, which is punishable but hard to react to. You can mash punches, which gives you a series of fireballs. These can be interrupted but are safe once blocked. Or you can mash kicks, which gives you an overhead mid-low sequence. This is very unsafe on block and can be interrupted, but will probably have a 100% success rate on someone who's never seen it before. All 3 enders can be beaten by a well-timed normal, so it's effectively unsafe on block. Sakura's actual super still exists. It has increased range, damage, and invincibility, and works in some pretty interesting scenarios. However, it's slightly weaker than her 4-bar triple punch super, so you mostly use it when confirming from specials or linking from very far away. Ultra 1 is unchanged. Most of the time Omega Sakura will only land Ultra from EX Tatsu, and this Ultra does more damage in that context, so for me it's probably her better one. Her dash speed has changed, so doing Dash Ultra 1 has a new timing, which is a little bit troublesome at first. Ultra 2 also seems to be mostly unchanged. You can still juggle it after DPs and stuff. Sakura seems to be similar to her SF5 version, with the back fierce and more limited Tatsu routes, not to mention she needs to be more careful about her confirms. However, they gave her a ton of new tools to play with, the dive kick, the Hadosho, triple punch super, and a lower Otoshi. She feels quite deep and complex, more so than SF5 Sakura, and honestly even more so than Ultra Sakura, and it really feels like they prioritized versatility and fun when designing her toolset. It makes me wish SF5 Sakura had a more abusable dive kick, or could do Hadosho outside VT1.